Hey everybody, Charlie Stevens here. Thanks again for joining me for another guitar lesson. Today we're going to learn about the D chord. Okay, so the D chord is a super important chord, very useful on the guitar. I find it to be pretty easy. It's one of the first chords that I think I ever learned. So hopefully you'll find this to be pretty easy. It is a little harder than the chords we've been learning so far. So far we've only checked out these easy versions of chords that involve only one finger. Okay, this one is the real deal. This is the real way to play a D chord now, okay? Because this one is called the D chord. It starts on the D string, which is our fourth string. We start there. We don't strum the fifth or sixth string, okay? So now that we've learned these four strings, we can learn this chord on these four strings here. And that's a D chord. So this isn't a beginner way. This is the real D chord, okay? So congratulations for making it to your real cowboy chords now. Let me show you how this one's done, okay? So D forms like a little triangle, okay? Kind of always looked like a little triangle to me. We have this shape here. So my first finger is gonna play the second fret of our third string, okay? And my second finger is gonna play the second fret of the first string, okay? So it skips over the second string, okay? Now, my third finger is going to help to play that one. So my third finger is going to go between these other two fingers I have on there. And it's going to go one fret higher too. So that's going to be in the string in the middle there. In this case, it's the second string, right? Okay, and then we can strum all four strings for this one. So we have open D. We have the note A here on the second fret of the third string with our first finger. We have the note D again, a higher D this time, on the third fret of our second string. We'll use our third finger for that one. And then we have the note F sharp. F sharp is in a D chord, okay? So that one is over here on the second fret of our first string, and we'll use the second finger to play that one. And remember, we don't strum these two bass strings. We just strum 4, 3, 2, 1. Or you can pick them. Sounds pretty, right? Okay, so lots of cool things we can do with this D chord. It's a very common chord. Hopefully you're finding that fairly easy to play. At first it might not be. So when we have more than one finger playing different strings, it can be difficult to let them all ring. So if I am not pressing down with the tips of my finger in the right way, then the side of my finger will touch a string that I don't want it to, and that will cause this sound, the sound of a muted string, which is a cool sound. We can use that for actual intentional music making down the road as well. But when we're playing a D chord, we don't want to hear any of that stuff. We want them all to be clear. So the way to do that is to stand them up nice and tall on the very tips of the fingers. Okay? And that's a D chord. Alright, so we're also going to learn about the D7 shape today. So D7 is pretty cool as well. It's shape-wise, it's very similar but backwards. So if you can imagine this being like a triangle, the point of the triangle is pointing this way, right? It's like a triangle pointing down. If I were to do a D7, it actually looks kind of the same, but the triangle now points that way, right? Okay, so really only one note has changed. We still have the open D string. We still have the second fret of the third string. We still have the second fret of the first string. The note on the second string used to be on the third fret, which is the note D, and we need to drop it down to the note C, which is of course here on the first fret of the second string. Again, because it's D7, that note is 7 letters away in our alphabet. So D, E, F, G, A, B, C. 7 letters away. So when we add a C note to a D chord, it becomes a D7 chord. In very simple terms. And we'll kind of demystify how all that stuff works at another time, the theory behind it. I don't really want you to worry about that right now. I want you to just kind of get used to these shapes so we can play some songs that use them. Okay? So even though only one note goes down, I can't use my third finger and like reach it up there, right? No, so actually I have to redo all of my fingerings. all my fingering. So I'm kind of mentally imagining everything being here and these two staying and this one going, but I'm going to use different fingers. So my second finger is now going to play the second fret of the third string. My third finger is going to play the second fret of the first string. And now my first finger is freed up to go right down here, right on the first fret of the second string. And the fourth string is still open, open D. Okay? And again, just like with regular D, we're not going to play the fifth or the sixth string. We'll start our strum on D. Since this note is D and the chord is named D, that's a great one to start. That means this chord is in root position. It's not in an inversion. Okay, but we'll learn more about what that means at another time. For now, I just want you to practice these two shapes, okay? And these are the real deal ways. These are not the training wheel versions of other chords we've learned so far. These are chords that you'll play for your whole life of guitar, your whole guitar playing life. There are other ways to play D chords as well, and we'll learn about many of those as we progress with our series as well. But this is kind of the most common way to play it. Most of the time that you're going to be playing a D chord, probably be like this, okay? So take your time with that. If it's a little new to get all these fingers and all these strings ringing at the same time, that's okay, that's normal, okay? When I work with beginners, sometimes I even help them and I take their fingers and I kind of move them onto the strings and help them squeeze down a little harder. So you can do that too. You can take this hand and kind of push stuff out of the way over here, okay? Might be a tiny bit challenging at first, but with practice you'll get this, and then you'll continue practicing this chord. Every time you play a song that has a D chord in it, you'll get a little more practice playing it, right? So a super valuable thing to know. So yeah, take your time with it because you're gonna use it a lot. It's gonna be kind of part of your arsenal now. You'll be able to your tool bag. You'll be able to draw on this shape if you're ever called to play a D in any song that you might be playing. And I'll go ahead and show you some songs that might use this shortly. So stay tuned to the channel. Alright, well thank you so much for watching. Hope you're enjoying this series. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thanks a lot.